What's up, you freaking geniuses? So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to solve proportions in triangles that have angle bisectors, right? So as you can see, we have our triangle right here with an angle bisector, and we're given a few different lengths. So this is x, this is 8, 5, and 3. So we're just trying to solve for this missing length right here, which is x. Now, in order to do that, we just need to set up a proportion. So proportion is just a fraction equal to another fraction. Okay, so what goes in your fraction? So you just want to relate similar sides. So for instance, this flat side of the triangle would relate to this flat side of the triangle. See, they're along the same length. They're along the same side of the triangle, right? So here we could say that x is related to 3, all right? So we can say x is related to 3. And that's going to be equal to our other fraction. So we can say this slanted side, which is 8, is related to this slanted side, which is 5. Okay, and notice that I didn't put 5 over 8 over here. And the reason for that is because you always want to relate the two terms on the same side. So x is related to 8, right? They're both part of this triangle right here, right? So that's why they're both on top. And then on this triangle, on the right side, 3 is related to 5, right? So that's why they're on the same side down here. Okay, so to solve this proportion, we just need to cross multiply. So we're going to say 5 times x is equal to 5x, and that's going to be equal to our other cross, 8 times 3, which is 24. So then here we can divide both sides by 5, so we get that x is equal to 4.8. All right, here's our next problem. So again, you can see we have our triangle with a few lengths, right? This is 6, this is 4, this bottom length is x, and then the total length of the bottom is 6. Okay, so again, in order to solve for x over here, we can just set up a proportion, right? So fraction equal to another fraction. So again, what goes in your first fraction here? Well, we can again relate the two sides down here that are along the same side of the triangle, right? So this length is x, and then what is this length right here? Well, let's see. If the whole thing is 6, right, it's given as 6, we just want to subtract out this part, which is x. So we could say that this blue section is 6 minus x. Okay, so for our first fraction, our first ratio, we can say that we have an x on top and then a 6 minus x on the bottom, right? So 6 minus x. Okay, so now we just want to put our other two numbers. So on the left side with x, we have 6. And then on the right side, right, these are in the same triangle, we have 4. Okay, so again, to solve for x, we just want to cross multiply. So 4 times x, that's equal to 4x, and that's going to be equal to 6 times 6 minus x. So then simplifying here, we get 4x is equal to, and then just distribute, 36 minus 6x. Let's get all the x's on one side, so let's add 6x to both sides. So then here we get that 10x is equal to 36. So here, dividing both sides by 10, we get that x is equal to 3.6. Boom. All right, here's our last example. So again, we have our triangle with the angle bisector. So we have these 4 different lengths, right? And we're just trying to solve for x. So again, let's set up our proportion. Okay, so on this first fraction, the first ratio, again, we can relate the two sides along the same length down here. So that would be 5x and 6x. So then on top over here, we would have 7x. And on the bottom over here, we would have 10x minus 4. Okay, now one thing we can do before cross multiplying is, if you notice something, on this fraction we have 5x over 6x. Now since we have a common factor, x, we can actually just cancel that out, right? So now this is just reduced down to 5 over 6. Okay, so now that we simplified that and reduced it down, now let's cross multiply. So our first cross is going to be 5 times 10x minus 4, right? 5 times 10x minus 4, and that's equal to the other cross, which is going to be 6 times 7x. Okay, now if we distribute, here we're going to get 50x minus 20 is equal to 42x. Okay, now let's get all the x's on the same side. So here we can subtract 50 x from both sides. So then here we get that negative 20 is equal to 42 minus 50 is equal to negative 8. So we get negative 8x. Okay, and let's move this up just to have a little extra room here. So now to solve for x, we can just divide both sides by negative 8. Those cancel out. So then negative 20 divided by negative 8 is equal to positive 2.5. And that's equal to simply x, right? So then that's your final answer right there. Boom. So if you found the video helpful, definitely leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any other questions or want to see any other examples, just let me know in the comment section below.